Hola chicos, I'm Christian and I'm moving to Spain. So, this video will be about how this to move to Spain, what you need to know and what you need to do and so on and so forth. So, to go right into it, I have now applied for my university and every little detail I have to apply for. And I'm actually waiting to get some kind of response. So it's not really totally sure. But on the other hand, I will move to Spain. My university starts in just about 4 months from now, and I will probably move to Spain in around 3 months from now. So I feel like I need to prepare now. Now I got that start because I have a lot of things to do. But what do I have to do? Well, of course I have to live somewhere in Spain, so I have to get an apartment of some kind in some way or another at some point, better sooner than later. And that means I'm not gonna live here in Denmark, so I have an apartment here in Denmark, as you can see. Hopefully you were able to guess that already. But what do I do with that one? Do I keep it? Then I have 2 apartments, then I have 2 things to pay for every month instead of 1, and that's it, right? Or do I sell it, like immediately, get rid of it as fast as possible? But then, but if I'm not gonna go to Spain, then I have nowhere to live in Denmark. Or what if I need to get home from Spain because something goes wrong, or I cry every day, or I don't know. Everything can happen. Like, it's not so safe to sell the apartment immediately when you move. It just make it 100 times more scary to move to a new country when you don't have anything to get back to. And then you can say, what about parents and friends and family and stuff? Like, don't have anyone you can move into? Can you not just live there for multiple months? Well, that's hard and a long story, but I don't have a lot of family, and I don't have a lot of friends either, and that's maybe a good thing when I'm moving to Spain, because then I can get new friends. No, it's a good thing not to leave too much behind in Denmark, but for this purpose it's not so good, because most of my friends, if not all of them, live in very small apartments, and maybe I could crash for a few days, but probably not months. So I'm not even sure if anyone wanna have me crashing for a few days. So it's not totally safe to just have my friends I can stay over with if everything goes totally wrong. So what else can I do with my apartment? If I can't sell it, but also can't keep it, is there a middle ground? There is kind of a middle ground. I can rent it out, so I can keep it for myself, but I can rent it out to other people when I'm away, and then sell it in a year's time or something, when I'm sure I'm gonna stay in Madrid and everything are going fine, and so on and so forth. So that's an opportunity, and when I just speak of it like this, it sounds like the best opportunity, and I also think that that's the one I'm counting on right now. But I'm not sure, because I'm also think there's downside with that, because that's easily the hardest thing, because that means you have to make a contract with some person, and probably someone you don't know, and you have to leave kind of some of your stuff around, and you're like, do he smash the stuff, do he steal the stuff? I don't know if it's a he or a she, but it's easier to say something, so say he. That's hard, and then you need to make decision of how many things do you want to leave. Do you want to sell the apartment or rent it out, like a fully furnished one? And do you keep your television, like some do in Spain and so on? Or do I hide my television away or sell it because it's very expensive? So I don't want him to smash my television. It's there's so much to think about with renting out the apartment. So many things that can go wrong, and so many decisions to make. There's so many micro decisions to make in that big decision. But the big part are how to make a contract, how do you even rent stuff out when you're not a landlord yourself, and like what happens if you break stuff, steal stuff, just run away from everything. All these things, you have to put yourself into some new stuff, totally blank. You have to learn this stuff from the bottom up, and that's hard when you also have to do other things, because there are also other preparation to move to Madrid. And but this is probably, I will say for sure, the biggest one. But the other half of this is that sounds strange, but whatever. The other part is I also have to find an apartment in Madrid. So when do I do that? Do I buy one now? Do I start looking now? What do I do? And many people talk about it, like, and especially in the exchange community, and my school actually itself, my own university says this: you just find an apartment when you arrive. They say like it's the easiest thing in the world, and it just happens immediately. It sounds really strange, because in my opinion, looking for apartments is a long process. Like you really have to be sure about what you're gonna move into. So you're gonna look at 100 apartments before you find the right one, and then you have to make an offer, and then the offer can be rejected. Maybe you cannot agree on what you wanna pay, or maybe somebody else just wanna pay more. It's all of the or faster than you. Also often the case that another one just is faster, and the response on your offer is just, oh, we already sold it. So many things to think about when you buy a new apartment, rent, whatever, and so many things you're gonna do. So it sounds strange to me that you just arrive and then pick an apartment. I think you for sure need to be living somewhere, like an Airbnb, for like at least a few days, 3, 4, 5 days at least, maybe multiple weeks when you're looking for an apartment. And maybe that's a good solution, because I could look from home, I could buy from home, but it's really scary to buy from home, because when I say from home, I mean from Denmark, right? That I buy an apartment in Madrid while I'm still in Denmark without ever being in Madrid, and then when I arrive, I can go straight into my own apartment, but that's it sounds convenient when I arrive. Like when I have bought it, it's very convenient, because when I arrive, I can just walk in, no problem there. But the problem is, I have not seen the apartment in real life, so I can be cheated the fuck up. It's really scary, and I have heard a lot of stories about scammers in the apartment area, in that, what do we call it? Like the apartment sector. There's a lot of scammers in Madrid. I've heard stories about, at least. So it sounds totally crazy to buy one from Denmark, and too scary. But I could start looking, and I've already done, because I can't help myself. So I can look for apartment in Denmark, and then when I arrive, I have a good idea of what to look for. And actually, if I look intensive at apartment, like 3 or 4 days, or just a day before, like a few days before I arrive in Madrid, if I use the last couple of days in Denmark to look through all the apartments, then when I arrive in Madrid, I know exactly where to go. I could I could actually also call or write or whatever to do, contact the landlords or agents, whatever, if it's with or without agent, because that's another thing. It can be both. Also, I could also contact them before I leave Denmark. So when I'm sitting in Denmark, the last few days before I leave, and looking for an apartment, then when I find good ones, I can contact the agency and actually make an appointment at the day of arrival, or the day after, whatever I want, put appointment, make so many appointments as possible, And then when I arrive, I can just go straight to the appointment, get shown some apartments, and then it can happen fast. And then it's kind of a head start. So I can give myself a head start at least. And then I can live somewhere when I arrive in Madrid for a couple of days, hopefully not many weeks, because Airbnb are really expensive in Madrid. It's crazy. I've never seen something like that before, but yeah, so I can live there, and while I'm looking at apartment with the appointments I have made and make more appointments and all that, and then I can get an apartment really fast, I believe. Also because the apartment game moved really fast in Madrid and in Spain in general. I have heard it's something many people talk about with Spain, that apartments, it's so fast. Like you come look at an apartment, and while you're still there, you say, I gotta buy it, because it's so fast. You will not get it anyway else. Apart from that, it cannot happen. Yeah, we need to do that in Spain in general, and in Madrid, I've heard it is especially fast. So I think it will be quite easy to get an apartment. And I can also see that it's kind of true, because every time I look at apartment in Idealista, for example, then a few days after, I get some emails from Idealista like, oh, this apartment you looked at, it's gone now, by the way. It's kind of strange emails, but also makes sense, because it's a good thing they tell you, because else you can dream about the apartment and think about it for a couple of days, and then you can try to call them, and then they will tell you it doesn't exist anymore. Or, of course, the apartment exists, but not for sale. But you know what I mean. So that's kind of handy, and it happens sometimes a few days later, sometimes the day after. And a few apartments I have liked in Idealista have been there for like a month before it disappeared, but it is gone now. I actually think all the apartments I have liked up until today are actually gone now, but at least all the apartments I liked the first time I looked at Idealista, and the second time too, for sure, they are gone now. And I start looking back in March, and we are in May now, so that's 2 months later. So at least all the apartments from 2 months ago, they're not there. They cannot be there for 2 months. It'll be like a month max if it's really a crazy bad apartment, you know. And else it can be like 1 day, a few days. So really fast. I can see that is true when I look at it, that it goes really fast with the apartments in Madrid. So yeah, I'm kind of not too scared about it, but still it's really scary. It's the thing I'm most scared about, I think, is that where do I actually gonna live when I arrive in Madrid? It's so crazy. But at least I believe that I will end up being with, like living together with other people. And then with some of them, like one of them, I have told you about that before, but one of them feel very sure now. We have talked a lot about it, and we have actually made like a deal about that. We try to organize it so we arrive in Madrid at the same day at least, and then we can find an Airbnb together to live in while we're looking for apartments. That also make the Airbnb cheaper, so now I can afford it, because it's too expensive to live alone. But when I'm 2, maybe 3, it's fine, no problem. Then I can afford it, and then we look for apartments together and choose one together and move in together, and that makes it way less scary. And I always think that about things I'm scared, just a little scared about. I always think that if there's one more person like in the same situation as me, like together with me, it's totally not scary anymore. I can do whatever, I can conquer the world if I'm not alone, at least. So if you move to Spain or another country, or just a long way away in general, and if you wanna move to Spain, then try to find someone that wanna do it with you. It don't need to be your lover, it can be like a friend too. Of course, you both need to want to move to Spain, but to be honest, who doesn't, right? But yeah, it's hard to convince other people to move to another country after you yourself have decided to do. But if you can like convince somebody at least just to try it out, like for a few months. Then you will be together the first couple of months, and then that will be less scary. So that will also help a lot. Then you can for sure live alone. But it's of course always the nicest if you are moving to Spain with someone else, because that makes it way less scary and makes you way more what is the word? Motivated? No, not also that, maybe. What the fuck is the word actually? It makes you believe in yourself more. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's a great idea and will probably work fine. But enough about that. Other things you're gonna prepare about, of course, what do you bring with you? You have a little bag you can bring into a plane if you travel by plane, what you probably do. So you cannot bring anything with you. And do you sell the stuff you leave behind, or do you keep it somewhere, just at least in the start, or do you bring it to Madrid or Spain? Like, do you bring your stuff every time you went back to your home country, or do you just sell everything you can, like, get again, buy again, or you can buy a new version of, or whatever in Spain? Like, there's many different things, and it's probably always a combination. Like, some things you're gonna bring because that's cheaper and nicer, and some things you can probably sell and maybe you don't even need to buy it again, and so on. And then there are of course all the cancellation process. Like, you have a lot of stuff in your country, you have phone bills and security, what is called insurance, I was trying to say, on everything. And some insurance things you can like keep, and some you probably have to cancel because you get them in Spain, and then it will be like double insurance. That would be waste of money, and so on. So on. I'm not even into that. I just thought about it, and now getting even more stressed. So I'm not gonna talk more about that because I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things to think about there. So I have to research a bit of what I can keep and what I can't keep and what I should keep and what I shouldn't keep, and so on and so forth. Other things you can prepare about are like the bureaucracy in Spain, at least. Like, Spain has this personal number. Like, every country has that every country have that, I guess, most countries at least have like a personal number for you and only you, and they have that in Spain too, but they have like 3 different versions or something like that. But for most of the time when you move to Spain, like, at least if you move from Europe, and I think it's the same if you move from a country outside Europe, you get the NIE number, which are the something I don't remember number. I think in this number, like Número Identificación de Extraño. So it means like an expat identification number. So that's specifically for people that move to Spain, and that's mostly for everyone that moves to Spain. So you have to get that. But when do I have to get that? See, that's a strange conversation, because I have heard a lot of people that have been getting it in their own country. Like in Denmark, I go to the Danish-Spanish government building. You know, every country has that for most other countries. So I have people going to that Spanish government building in their own country and apply for NIE number multiple months before they move to Spain, so they get it in good time before they move to Spain. But I have also heard people moving to Spain and then getting the NIE number after moving to Spain. And some people say, oh, it's easier to get it before, and other people say that it's actually quite easy to get it when you arrive in Spain. So I don't even know if I want to get it. Like, there's no problem in getting it beforehand. I think like it works just as well. So to be sure, it will make sense to get it beforehand because you can. So why not? And if you have a lot of time, the important thing is, if you start the process in Denmark, for example, then you have to be in Denmark at the point of finish. I'm not even sure if you have to be in Denmark, but it will be a good thing if the process ended before the moving to Spain, because that will make it easier. So don't have to start a new process in Spain and have 2 processes going and you get 2 numbers. I don't know what can go wrong. Maybe you can start the process in Spain if you have started in Denmark. I don't know how it works. But me, I'm having like 3-4 months before I move to Spain, so I can probably make it. Like if I start the appointment in Denmark, normally it take like a month. I've heard people talk about up to 3 months, and I hear people talk about up to 3 months in Spain, and I hear people talk up to 3 months in Denmark and other countries, England and so on. So it's it can take a lot of time, but again, I have more than 3 months now, so I should be able to get it if I started now. So I guess why not? Maybe I'm gonna do that, but I'm not sure, because I can also do it in Spain, and I have not heard anyone being fucked up because it didn't get the NIE number when they moved to Spain, but I only get it after. So maybe I will take the like usually route just for the nostalgia. No, we will not call that, for the, what's the other word, for the feeling of, for the rustic feeling of moving to Spain, like it was intended to, like in the old days. I think something like that. I just think it will be more fun. Maybe I'm too stupid. I wanted fun instead of easy. But sometimes I don't want it too easy. Sometimes I want it just like the right way, I think. But yeah, you can do both and it will probably go fine. So maybe don't think too much about it. It's not the one thing to think most about. There are more things more important to think about. So yeah, when you move to Spain, there are lots of things to think about. And lots of processes you have to go through, and some of them you can start early and some of them you can start later. So if you want to hear more about this, then subscribe to my channel, and then you can also follow my story and my process of moving to Spain, and my life in Spain and my vlogs in Spain and all of that. And leave something in the comments. I think I'm gonna talk about like other stuff too, but also in this region of talks, like if you wanna make me talk more about what you need to move to Spain, make a part 2, go more into detail with specific stuff, or if you think about stuff I left out, stuff I haven't thought about myself, maybe if you want to give me some tips, do that. If you want me to remember to talk about the stuff I haven't mentioned because I forgot, then tell me that. And if you like the video, then like it, and then I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.